Good evening. With temperatures expected to rise, there are concerns the wildfire burning in Jasper National Park could pick up again this weekend. It's been extinguished in the town site, but continues to burn out of control to the south. It's keeping visitors out of the park for the foreseeable future and vital highways closed. Crews are working on extinguishing fires adjacent to the town, including in the Pyramid Bench area and on hotspots around Jasper Park Lodge and Lake Edith. A fire guard is also being built between Pyramid Lake and Highway 16. Highway 16 is still closed, but plans are in the works for when it does reopen. Work is also being done on plans to move evacuees from the Valemont area through the park to Hinton. While they wait, the Red Cross will start giving out a one-time $750 payment to Jasper households tomorrow. And with these many resources focused on Jasper, Alberta Wildfire is asking people to be thoughtful and responsible this long weekend.
Fire season is not over yet, and respecting fire bans is integral to our wildfire response. We want to keep firefighters focused on actioning existing wildfires and not responding to new ones.
Alberta Wildfire says 1/3 of this year's wildfires are human caused. There are currently 117 fires burning across the province. 23 of those are out of control. The municipality of Jasper says work is being done on a re-entry plan. A number of factors must be met before people can go back. Premier Danielle Smith addressed concerns during a telephone town hall for evacuees. Jeremy Thompson reports from outside of Jasper.
Well, the town and the entire Jasper National Park remain closed today as an out-of-control wildfire still burns near the town. That's leaving evacuees in a bit of a limbo, wondering what they should be doing and what comes next. In an effort to address those questions, the province and Premier Danielle Smith held a town hall for all wildfire evacuees yesterday evening, although the focus certainly was on Jasper, and the Premier tried to add some context as to what's going on in town that's preventing evacuees from returning.
There's only one drugstore that survived. There's two others that were destroyed. So making sure people have access to their necessary medications are another factor. So,
of course, cleanup needs to happen in town, and in order for a return to happen, a number of factors have to be changed. Power needs to come back on. Hazardous materials from the buildings that burned need to be cleaned up. Emergency services need to return as well. They're all focused right now on this wildfire situation. And critical services like gas stations and grocery stores also need to be back up and running. Of course, the main issue keeping those evacuees out of town right now is this out-of-control wildfire situation. It is sunny, it's heating up, and wildfire officials with Parks Canada are expecting increased fire activity because of this heat as the forest dries out, so they'll be keeping a close eye on that. They've also been setting up more protections in town, more fire breaks, more sprinklers to make sure that everything is safe if that fire does flare up again. Reporting from near Jasper, Jeremy Thompson, CTV News.
Jasper is also home to temporary former workers worried they may not have jobs to go back to. Many of them are here on closed work permits, which means they can only work for one employer. Nav Sanger reports on their uncertain future.
Gaganpreet Kaur, Gurbinder Singh and Namneet Singh all started working in Jasper within the last year and a half. While they were born and raised in India, they say Jasper was starting to feel familiar.
Besides living there for such a great long time, you feel this is your home.
All three of them are temporary foreign workers employed in the hospitality and retail industry. They say they were working when the evacuation order was issued.
We had other people like our guests at the hotel. We had that priority to make them sure that they are leaving out safely. Then we can think about ourselves.
No time to grab anything other than the clothes on their back. They came to Edmonton. The three all rent the same home in Jasper. That home no longer exists. It burned to the ground. Along with it, their passports, work visas, and education documents.
Because we have basically lost everything. It's all gone.
Now they're volunteering their time to help other foreign workers in a similar situation. The Jasper Employment and Education Center has set up a support center at the All Saints Cathedral in Edmonton. It's helping people with their work permits, employment insurance, and other employment or immigration issues.
Really, the biggest concern is, what am I going to do with my future? Where am I going to be working? Where am I going to be living? What's going to happen to my life?
Another problem, workers who are here on a closed working permit. That means they are tied with the employer they work for in Jasper. Immigration Canada says those temporary workers can apply for a work permit extension or apply to transition to an open work permit.
But we really are cognizant that people need long-term emotional and mental support because this is a big trauma for people.
We're not sure when we are going to return our home and then when we are going to get back to our jobs.
The support center at the All Saints Cathedral will be open every day from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Nav Sanga, CTV News, Edmonton.
An Edmonton artist has created a drawing about the Jasper wildfires that's being shared all over the world. Kayla Dawn is an amateur artist in Edmonton who has spent time in Jasper. When she heard of the wildfires, she says her heart bled over the heartache and loss. Her family lived in Fort McMurray in 2016. She says she is familiar with the shock of events like this.
Yeah, there was some need that my drawing met just to help unify folks and express the sentiments we're all feeling about the loss in Jasper. If I have any message for the people of Jasper, it's that you're not alone. We're here for you.
Inspired by the Jasper the Bear character, she drew this piece in the style of the original Jasper cartoons from the 1940s. Meanwhile, the impact of the Jasper wildfire on the tourism industry is also sinking in. As Miriam Valdez-Carletti reports, it's not just Albertans who depend on it.
More than 2 million visitors come to Jasper National Park each year. Their stay not only benefits Alberta, but small towns in BC like Clearwater down the highway to the south.
In a normal week like this, you'd be hard finding a parking space in midday or anywhere sort of in daylight hours. Right now, you can park anywhere you want.
Clearwater Mayor Merlin Blackwell says a quarter of the town's business comes from the tourists visiting the Rockies. With Highway 16 closed through Jasper National Park, visitors are unable to pass through and continue on to Clearwater, still recovering from the pandemic slowdown.
We can't afford, after taking that kind of hit for a year or two, to have another multi-week shutdown.
While Jasper has been hit hard, most of the town still stands, as does one of its biggest tourist draws. Marmot Basin says its infrastructure wasn't damaged by the wildfire and plans normal operations this winter.
Jasper remains an incredibly beautiful place, and we can't wait to get welcome skiers and guests of all sorts back to our community.
Marmot Basin Vice President Brian Rode says many hotels were saved, so skiers shouldn't have trouble finding a place to stay. Not all businesses are as lucky.
From what we understand from Parks Canada, is that about 75% of the property was destroyed by the fire.
Takara Lodge says it's lost its front office, main building with the restaurant, and several cabins. It plans to rebuild and improve so tourists can stay for years to come.
When we do rebuild, it maintains the charm that you're seeing there on the screen, but also will be much more resistant to fire.
Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
For anyone looking to help Jasper evacuees, the Canadian Red Cross has declared tomorrow the Alberta Day of Caring for Jasper. You can drop off cans and bottles at any bottle depot in the province and tell them the donation is for Jasper. Alberta radio stations are also involved. You can text the word radio in all caps to the number 20222 to make a $10 donation. You can also donate on the Canadian Red Cross website. Every dollar donated to the Red Cross will be matched by the provincial and federal governments. The province says Little Red River Cree Nation is working on a re-entry plan. Wildfire forced more than 6,000 people from their homes earlier this month.
We're under the impression that they're targeting re-entry for around August 8th.
The Alberta Emergency Management Agency says it's working closely with the First Nation to make sure the community is safe for when people return. While the nearby wildfire is still out of control, Alberta Wildfire says cooler temperatures and rain has dampened fire activity. It says there has not been any significant growth in days.